Now, back to more of Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theatre. And your host, Lisa Condit.
Thank you all for listening today. I'm excited to be here with Steve Landis. He plays John Lennon in Rain, a tribute to the Beatles, which is coming to the Hanover Theatre and Conservatory Tuesday, March 10th. Welcome.
Hey, Sal, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm so looking forward to Rain coming back to our theater again. I remember the last time you guys were here, it was so great. The audience loved it, and you will find that you've got a lot of fans here in Worcester.
Yeah, the audiences are our favorite thing. That's really why we do what we do, because we love the Beatles, the audience loves the Beatles. It's a huge celebration.
Absolutely. So how did you get involved with Rain in the first place?
I grew up a Beatles fan, second generation. My parents and my whole family were Beatles fans, so I kind of got ensconced in all of that, and then from there wanted to become a musician, got in the Beatlemania show, and then from that kind of hooked up with Rain about, 20 years ago.
And the rest is history, right?
It really is, yeah. It's funny. Then from there we went from being a band to turning it into a show. We had a chance to kind of create our own production show, which ultimately led us to Broadway and the London's West End, which is London, England's version of the West of Broadway. So yeah, we've been all over the world.
What a complete trip in more ways than one, huh?
Yeah.
So some of the things that are really fun about Rain, a tribute to the Beatles, obviously the music is fabulous. And I, too, am a huge Beatles fan. My brothers played the guitar, and we all sang all the Beatles songs. I swear to God, I know the words to every single one of them.
Well, you're better off than me. We seem to forget them. I've played these songs a million times, and yet I always forget the words. But that was a John Lennon thing, too. He always forgot his own words. So
really?
Chalk it up to character, yeah.
That's so funny. So tell me some of the other ways that you get into character to play John day in, day out.
Well, I think it helps having, grown into always been a fan and just growing into wanting to know who he was and what he was about. I've got over 200 books, 100 videos. If there's something out, book or video wise, I've got it. I've watched literally hundreds of hours of video of just looking at how he stood or how he walked or how he would look at the other Beatles when they were talking or singing. All the little body language, all of that stuff really adds up so that I can really embody his character on stage. And then, of course, he was an iconic character, larger than life, and everything that he stood for, peace and love, and his Liverpudlian humor. I try to, bring all of that into the mix.
It's so cool. And, you touched on something that I think is interesting, too, and that's this band has such an amazing amount, the volume of songs and records, but they weren't really together for that long, right?
It's amazing that, their recording career spanned from 62 to 70, so 8 years, and yet they were making at least an album every, twice a year from the beginning, and then once a year from second half on. And, not only were they just making product, but they were making iconic albums, albums that have spanned the test of time. Rubber Soul, Sgt. Pepper, Let It Be, Abbey Road, albums that mean so much to us.
Absolutely. And, you were talking about watching all the footage. I'm interested. What were some of the things you noticed that were unspoken, but you could see them when you watched how, say, John interacted with the other members of the band in the beginning versus at the end?
Well, I think the one thing that carries over that never changed was, you think of them as just, four guys, they were all in their early 20s. They, kind of grew up together to some extent. You just think of them as dudes. And yet, John, not only was he the leader of the band, but I really feel like he was kind of the big brother to all of them. He kind of, whenever anybody else had the spotlight, whether it was Paul singing a song or George having something funny to say in an interview, he just kind of looked at the others with this endearing brotherly love, and I think that's something that really speaks to, not only the love that they shared, but the love that we all kind of have for the Beatles, for who they were.
Really well said. So we are going to see and hear a lot during the performance when you come on March 10th. Take us through what the audience can expect, because there's a lot that you could be doing, and you need to obviously focus on something that's going to be able to fit into 2 hours.
Exactly. To try and fit 8 years of a career and all these great songs into a 2-hour span is kind of tough.
Crazy.
And especially this time. Last time we were around, we were celebrating the 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper. We played that whole entire album as just one part of our show. We span the whole career. The show starts with the way America was introduced to the Beatles, the Ed Sullivan Show. We recreate that performance on stage, and we have multimedia. It's not just us, the four guys dressed in costume and doing the Liverpudlian accents and all that sort of stuff, really acting like them. But we sort of dress the stage with these state-of-the-art LED screens, so it really feels like you're there at the Ed Sullivan performance. We go through the rest of their career, Shea Stadium and these other high points. Like I say, Sgt. Pepper, Let It Be, the rooftop. We take you onto the rooftop. Last time we were doing the whole Sgt. Pepper. Well, now it's the 50th anniversary of Abbey Road. And so we're doing, like, the best, the songs that worked the best with the Sgt. Pepper album with our audiences the last time we were there. But now we're also doing the best of Abbey Road. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where you got to pick and choose which songs you're going to do. But with the Beatles, you can't go wrong.
No, you really can't. So I'm going to ask you a tough question, but I'm going to give you an out. Instead of saying, so what's your favorite song to perform? I'm going to say, so what are your top 3 or 5 favorite songs that you can perform?
That's a little bit better. That's
right?
A little bit better. I'll tell you one thing. It's impossible to put it just on one song. And the funny thing is it changes. I mean, just as there's a wide variety of types of songs that the Beatles played, there are some that just like hit you at a specific moment. When we first added a song like In My Life to the show, and I got a chance to sing that for an audience, I mean, that really becomes my favorite song of all time at that point. And then, we'll add a song like Give Peace a Chance, where I get a chance to really kind of rally the audience into this, really positive message of peace. And then that becomes my favorite song. So, really songs like those two, and if I had to make a third or a fourth, probably All You Need Is Love, because, of course, that's another positive message. And outside of the Beatles, of course, John Lennon is all about the Imagine song.
Right.
That sums up who he was and what he was about, peace and love.
So how about in the show itself? So we know that all the songs are going to be amazing because that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Is there a particular part of the program that we should really look forward to? I know that's tough too. It's all good, but
hey, I know, and I don't want to be, I don't want to give away too many spoilers or anything like that. But there are some songs that I really feel just brings the audience into the show and into the feeling of what we're trying to convey. Hey Jude is a big one.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing to see so many generations of families in our audience, arm in arm at the end of our show, singing the na-na-nas at the end, and the positive message of take a sad song and make it better. And you see, grandparents who lived through this music the first time with their kids and then their kids. So, it's really beautiful to see this music that we all kind of, grew up with, whether you were there at the time or whether you're just finding it now, you're growing up with it. It's becoming a part of you. To see that kind of, take place live in front of us. The audience comes to see a show, but we're seeing a show too, and it's a beautiful one.
Oh, I can't wait. And one of the things that's really nice about this show is it's appropriate for all ages as well.
It really is. It's family friendly. There were tumultuous times going on in the '60s, and our videos reflect that. But it really, there's nothing that a little kid couldn't see. And again, it's a positive message. At the end of the day, it's uplifting. That was the great thing about the Beatles music. There were some songs during the '60s and well, especially since that can be a little negative or even just kind of unsure. But the Beatles were really all about a positive, uplifting message, and that's really what our show is about.
And it's what we all need right now as well. So tickets are available for anybody who would like to purchase tickets for, again, that's Rain, a tribute to the Beatles, playing at the Hanover Theatre Tuesday, March 10th. Curtain time is at 7:30. Our web address is The Hanover Theatre, spelled with an RE.org. And again, reasonably priced. Tickets start at just $44, and of course we do have discounts for 10 or more. So check that out. Anything else you want our listeners to know about before we have to take a quick break?
It really is something for everybody. Like you said, family-friendly. If you're a hardcore Beatles fan, you're going to love it. If you want to find out more about the Beatles, you didn't know too much about them, this is a great entry point for you. And it's a different show than what we brought last time. So, like I said, there's too many great songs to choose from. So we change it up every time. Like I said, this time we're doing some Abbey Road songs. So if you've seen the show before, come back. You're seeing a new show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're speaking with Steve Landis. He plays John Lennon in Rain, again, coming to the Hanover Theatre Tuesday, March 10th. Tickets available at thehanovertheatre.org. Thank you so much. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be back after this quick break on WCRN AM 830 here on Behind the Scenes with the Hanover Theatre. Steve, thanks so much.